Being a top performer feels like protection. You're trusted, praised, relied on. You're the person the system depends on. It feels like the strongest position in the room. But inside many organizations, being a top performer doesn't actually give you leverage. It gives you utility. And those two things are not the same. In fact, inside many outcome-based systems, the people who create the most value can still operate under a hidden structural ceiling. And once you see the mechanism behind that, you start understanding why performance alone doesn't automatically create operating leverage or revenue scaling. This realization usually surprises high performers. Because high performers are taught something early, if you become valuable, you gain leverage. But inside many organizations, the opposite happens. The more valuable you become, the more the system needs you to stay exactly where you are. Let's pause for a moment. Organizations rarely optimize for fairness, they optimize for stability. Most organizations care about three things: predictability, continuity, controlled output. Top performers provide all three. They stabilize revenue, make forecasts reliable, reduce operational risk. From the system's perspective, a consistent high performer is a stabilizing asset, which means the organization functions best when top performers stay consistent and stay exactly where they are. This creates something subtle: the top performer trap. The top performer trap happens when someone becomes so valuable inside a system that the system has every incentive to keep them exactly where they are. Not because it's malicious, because it's efficient. And that's where something confusing happens. Praise starts to look like leverage, but it isn't. People often mistake appreciation for leverage. Praise feels powerful, recognition feels influential, but appreciation is emotional. Leverage is structural. If your performance strengthens the system without increasing your ownership of outcomes, then the system benefits most from keeping you stable. Think about the incentives. If a top performer leaves their position, the organization experiences disruption, vacancies, transition risk, revenue instability. But if that top performer stays, the system remains predictable, so the incentives become obvious. Reward them enough to keep them motivated, but not enough to make them structurally independent. In one structure, you perform well, you receive praise, maybe a bonus, maybe recognition, but your position doesn't change. The structure stays the same. In another structure, performance improves your ownership, your influence expands, your upside scales. Same performance, different system design. Here's a useful test. Ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1. If you doubled your output, would your freedom increase or just your responsibility? Question 2. Does performing better expand your ownership or simply strengthen your role? Question 3. If you became even more valuable, would the system want you to move upward or stay exactly where you are? Those answers reveal whether appreciation actually translates into leverage. If this perspective helped you see something clearly, save this video. You may want to revisit these questions later. This dynamic creates a strange internal tension. You're valued, but not empowered. You're praised, but not expanded. So questioning the structure feels almost disloyal. They treat me well. I'm doing well. I should be grateful. And yet something still feels constrained, because appreciation without leverage still leaves you dependent. High performers are rarely trapped by incompetence. They're often contained by competence. The better you perform, the more useful you become. The more useful you become, the more the system wants consistency instead of disruption. But structural change always requires disruption. I'm curious about something. Do you feel like your current role rewards performance or contains it? Write one word in the comments. I read every single one, because in the next video we're going to talk about something almost every organization uses to keep top performers motivated: bonuses. On the surface, bonuses feel like upside, but psychologically, they can create something very different, a subtle trap that keeps people working harder without actually increasing their leverage. If you want to understand how income structures really work, subscribe to the channel, because this series is about one transition, moving from effort-based income to leverage-based income. I'll see you in the next video.